What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? This is your boy Is Nefarious, and I am here for another episode following the career of GM Neff here in NHL 25. We are a few seasons in, and we are struggling this season. We are sitting here at 9 10 and 2. It's been a struggle this season. We did have a lot of regression to this lineup. So we lost Lindholm, who was a high 80s, almost in the 90s. Right now it's showing 86, so not as bad. We made some lineup changes. We're running with Ehlers, Letourneau, and Pasta. Then we're running Kuznetsov, Zacha, and Patras. You got Walensky, Lindholm, and Mitten. Then you got Zetterlund, Harrison, and Yermison, the rookie. So Yermison in his rookie season, see how he continues to perform. And you got Boumadine and McAvoy. Then you got Renzel and Lindholm, Vilchinski, and Kesserling as the defense. It's surprising that this team is not performing right now. Some of our best performers and some of our worst performers we went over the last video. So let's jump into this next sim. So we got to get to... We're December 1st, so we will be getting to close to the trade deadline. So you're looking at just before the trade deadline, I believe. Yeah, so February 1st, and then we'll be able to get to the trade deadline in the next sim. So we'll get December and January, we'll get to February 1st, and then we'll get to the trade deadline in the next video. But 9 10 and 2, not great. Not great, definitely ugly, and we're hoping that we could, switch off and start performing well. So let's get to the end of December and reevaluate this team and how we're performing and see if we have to make even more changes. So a month in the books, we are sitting here on January 1st. We actually started performing pretty well. 8-1-1 in our last 10, but we are 20-11-14 after 9 10 and 2. So a really good month. And you could see it with the stats. First in goals for, we're 8th in goals against, we're first in power play percentage, we are 17th in penalty kill. Taking a look at the standings, we jumped all the way up to 4th place in the division, holding on to a wild card spot, but hopefully as we move forward we get even higher than that. So we're doing well there. Let's take a look at some of the stats, and then we'll jump into the advanced player stats as we like. So Pasternak's now leading the team with 29 points, 14 goals, 15 assists. Then you have Ehlers with 21 behind him, Kuznetsov with 20, Zacha with 20, McAvoy with 20. And where is the center on that first line? Dean Letourneau with 13 points in 35 games. I know we just moved them up to that first line, so we'll give him a little time before we worry too much about his performance. You got Fraser Mitten. He has 11 points in 35 games. He hasn't really panned out as a prospect, but taking a look at the other guys, like Walensky's got 15 and 32, and I believe Yermison's got 11 and 35. And in the rookie skaters, he is the only rookie skater representing Boston. Let's take a look at his season so far, where it ranks. So he's in the top 5, number 5 exactly, tied for 4th with Foster here. But Jacobson is leading the league with 14 points in 36 games. You got Coots, who has 13 points in 33 games, and then you got Miles Wood with 13 in 33. Oh, Matthew Wood, I should say, not Miles Wood, Matthew Wood. So that's where you got the rookies. Taking a look at the goalies right now, you got Swayman 18 and 8 with 2 overtime losses, 3 shutouts, 927 and 199 goals against average, so playing really well. And then Riddick's not been bad as the backup at a 902 and a 282, which has been better than he was to start the season. But let's take a look at the advanced stats, how we like to do in this series, and take a look at the player efficiency ratings. As you know, we like to take a look at the player efficiency ratings, and so far leading the team is Elton Yermison, the rookie, with a 55.3, and then you got a 59.82 and a 50.78. He's been really good in that 4th line, and maybe potentially gets moved up if we move on from Patras or somebody. But I will say, you know, this lineup that we had going into this month has been really good. Dean Letourneau is up there in efficiency right now in the top 5 with 45.47. The offense is up, the defense is solid. You got Pasternak with a 75 and a 27 there. You know he's going to put up his offensive numbers, not so much defensively. You got Kuznetsov in the top 3 as always, as you can see, with a 50.31. Good defense, good offense. And then you got Zacha with a 64 offense in the top 5 with a 47.92. Some of our bad performing players right now. Leroux has a 7.27. You got Boumediene with a 26.11. Vilchitsky with a 28.24. So the 2 defensemen that we took in our first NHL entry draft, not performing too hot so far this season. You got Ehlers with a 33.05. You also got McAvoy with a 35.36. He's not 56. Not that good so far. Lindholm's at the bottom as well, but in the 30s is okay. When you below 30, that's kind of where you wave the red flag and kind of take a look at that. Take a look at the player, the efficiency rating for offense. Pasternak's number 1 with a 75.06. Walensky has been really good offensively. First season, second season, really good offensively. The second best offensive player we have so far. Zacha's up there, Yermison as well, and Fraser Mitten, who actually just went down to injury for a few days. You got the defensive efficiency rating. Vilchinsky's usually up there, but not as good. Usually leading the team, he's got a 45.44. You got Kuznetsov and Yermison, but then you got Kesselring, who's been playing really, really well. Wonder where that puts us overall for defense. Renzel's our best defenseman right now. Really good offense and solid defense. Really solid offense and defense for a defenseman. Kesselring, really solid defense, okay offense. So he's been really good. So not even our best players on the defensive side of things is leading this team right now. So hopefully they turn it around and start performing a little bit better. We have to make a decision on somebody like Matthew Patras, who's doing okay offensively and okay defensively. Since he's going to need a contract, we got a few people we really got to decide towards a trade deadline if we want to move, because I think this team's good, but we can make them even better. But that's it for the efficiency ratings. Let's jump back into the sim and get through the next month. All right, before we jump into the next sim, let me just go over the lines. We're gonna keep the lines the way they work, because we totally switched the feel in the locker room and the overall team. Ehlers, Letourneau, and Pasternak. You're gonna have Kuznetsov, Zacha, and Patras. You're gonna have Edstrom, Lindholm, and Walensky, and then you're gonna have Yermison, Harrison, and Zetterlund to finish it out. Defensively, you're gonna have McAvoy and Boumediene. You're gonna have Lindholm and Renzel, Kesselring, and Vilchinsky. When it comes to the offense as well, Edstrom's just filling in. We're gonna have Fraser Mitten in that third left wing spot when he gets back and healthy. So let's jump into the sim. Hopefully we continue the positive play that we've recently had. You know, we are in a wild card spot, but we want to get towards the top of the division and not have to worry about making the playoffs. So let's jump back into the sim, see how we do. So after another good month, a solid month, we're sitting here. We are 4th in the division right now with a 30-15-4 record. Our division's doing pretty damn well. Even the 2 wildcard teams are in our division with 60+ points, and the second wildcard team, the Canadians, would actually lead in the Metro division right now. That's how well this division is doing. I wonder if they would lead in other divisions. Not so much in the West. The Kraken and the Predators having phenomenal seasons, but the Atlantic division looks like it's going to be a dogfight to get into the playoffs. We are 4th right now with 64 points. Taking a look at these stats, we're 6th in goals for, we're 4th in goals against, 1st in power play, 17th in penalty kill. Pasternak still leading the team in points with 38. McAvoy's got the most points defensively with 29. You got 22 goals from Pasternak, 26 assists from McAvoy. Elton Yermison with 14 points as a rookie so far. And let's take a look at the player efficiency rating. And what we're going to do, we're actually going to sim to the trading deadline right after we're done looking at that. So taking a look at the top 5 players right now so far this season, you got David Pasternak with the 53.06. You got Elton Yermison with the 51.16. You got Zacha with the 49.95. Kuznetsov with a 46.13. And then Fraser Mitten with a 44.32. Playing pretty well offensively and okay defensively. Taking a look at Matthew Patras, somebody that we're thinking about trading. Not very good defensively, okay offensively, not great. Maybe we could get a improvement there or trade him for a top draft pick. And then we have Elton Yermison, who we can move up to that second line, who's been playing really well so far this season. Letourneau's been okay, 41.3, 47 and a 34 there for his ratings. You got Walensky, who might actually be the second line guy here if we decide to move somebody up, 41, but the 70.37 offense and a 12.52 defense. I think that when it comes to goals per 60, we're not really going to look at Warner because he's, you know, not eligible. He's only played less than 15 games. Pastrnak with a 1.36. You got a 1.26 for Walensky, and Fraser Mitten with a 1. Take a look at the points per 60. You got Pasta with a 2.34, Walensky with a 2.31, and Warner, and then you got Fraser Mitten with a 2.14. So you got some guys performing really well. Our top offensive guys right now is Walensky, Pastrnak, Walensky, Zacha, Mitten, and Yermison. And then take a look at the defensive, our top defensive guy so far this season. You're looking at Kesseling, who's still number 1. Vilchinski's gone positive with that. He's at a 50.41. Elton Yermison, Brett Harrison, and then Fabian Zetterlund. Take a look at the defense. We did have our bottom 2 being our, you know, rookie defensemen. Now it's now it's Nikolai Ehlers and Sasha Boumadini, and then you got Vilchinski right there. He's gone up a little bit, and then you got Charlie McAvoy at a 34.96, and then you got Elias Lindholm not playing really well so far this season. So we got to look at what we're going to do with Ehlers, Boumadini, and Vilchinski. Ehlers, I think we're locked up for a few seasons. So let's take a look before we sim to the trade deadline. Let's take a look at some of our contracts. All right, some guys we have to make a decision on this season. One is going to be Charlie McAvoy, but one of our owner goals is actually to sign him. Matthew Patras is somebody that we have to sign. He will sign our trade. He does not want an extension, so that kind of helps us already. We're gonna trade him, no doubt. We'll just see what we can get for him. We also got Hampus Lindholm, who's up at the end of the season. We're probably not gonna bring him back. Sasha Boumadini, who we're definitely gonna bring back. Vilchinski, we're definitely gonna bring back. So there's 2 guys we definitely want to bring back. Fraser Mitten needs to be re-signed. We'll see how much he's asking for. Same thing with Edstrom, who's pretty decent, so we might bring him back. And then we got Leroux and Warner. So we got a few guys to make some decisions on. And in the system, we do have Merkulov, who needs to be re-signed. You got Poulin, you got Kilpinen, you also got Robertson. So you got a few guys we have to make a decision on as well down below. Now the goalies we didn't really take a look at. I think we're good with goalies for a while. Yeah, we got Swayman for a little bit longer. He is 31, so he's going to be starting getting older and older, and you know, regressing a little bit. He's a 93 overall, so not too bad, but we definitely got to set up the future for, you know, our goaltending situation, because right now we don't have anybody. We have a French starter and Louis Vara, who's a 18-year-old, so he's a fringe guy. We don't know how good he'll be. We also, I don't think we have anybody else actually. No, the only unsigned is the goaltender we just talked about. Other than that, we got old goaltenders. We really have no youth in the goaltending. Maybe we trade one of these guys like Patras for a goaltender, and maybe we package somebody like Lindholm with Ehlers, and then we get an improvement at the top 6 positions, because Ehlers hasn't been that guy. And we definitely, you know, we move Kustadinov to the first line, Ehlers goes to the second line. It doesn't solve anything. We still have that hole in the top 6 left wing. So we got to some decisions to make at the trade deadline, but let's get over to the trade deadline and then really talk about what we're going to be doing. So we got somebody that's going to miss a good amount of games, probably a handful. Hampus Lindholm is going to be out till March 4th, 2030. So a potential trade piece is going to be injured for a little bit, and hopefully that doesn't hurt his trade value in the end, but he'll be out for a little bit, and then we'll pick it up on the other side once we finish this sim. All right, we've made it to a day before the trade deadline, and we are sitting here at 37, 21, and 4, 78 points, 3rd in the division so far. Leading our team in points is Pastrnak with 44. Defensive points is Charlie McAvoy with 39. You got 24 goals from Pasta. You got 34 assists from McAvoy. You got 19 points from Yermison. Taking a look at the rankings, we're 8th in goals for, 4th in goals against, 1st in power play, 20th in penalty kill. So it's been a okay month, nothing too great, nothing too bad. We are in a sole position of a playoff spot right now, and we're going into the trade deadline where we have to trade somebody like Matthew Poitras. And taking a look at the Lions right now and the way they're shaped, so if we trade Poitras and we don't get anybody in the top 6, I think this is something you'll see in the realm of Lions. So Poitras would be out. We would have Murat Kusnedinov there as well. Right now he is injured, so that's a big thing. But I would probably have Walensky go into that second line. We'd have Yermison go into line 3. And then on that 4th line, we'll probably have Leroux, or we'll call somebody up to kind of take over that position. Maybe even have somebody like Edstrom. Even though he can't really play right wing, so we probably would move Zetterlund back over to that right wing, and then we'll have Edstrom as the line 4 left wing, or we'll put Leroux there. But that's probably what we'll be looking at. One thing's for sure, Matthew Poitras is gone in one way, shape, or form. He is gone. We might have to sell him for minimum based on where we are, but you know, that's a possibility. But taking a look at the team overall, I want to look at the team's progression and where we are. But before we do, let's talk about the player efficiency so far this season and who's up and who's down. All right, back in the world of player efficiency, you can see Pasternak leading our team. Great offensively, okay defensively. You got Elton Yermison, who's number 2, Kusnedinov number 3, Zacha number 4, and Brett Harrison number 5. Zacha's been okay offensively, okay defensively. Harrison's been really solid defensively, and that 4th line center role. Fraser Mittens kind of fell off a little bit. Walensky's offense has fell off a little bit with the 68-23. Taking a look at our bottom, Bumadini, Vilchinski, who has now regressed once again. His offense is down, and so is his defense. Bumadini's been planting himself at the bottom so far this season. Hopefully he could turn it around. Hampus Lindholm has been one of our better defensemen. You got Renzel, who's what, 33-73, 31-23 offensive, 36-23 defensive. Ehlers been terrible so far this season. Terrible is a little too excessive. He's been bad though for a top 6 left winger. Definitely want more out of him. Letourneau hasn't been great as the number 1 center. Elias Lindholm's been okay as the 3rd line center, but he's making way too much money, but we can't move him since he's got a no movement clause. Zetterlund's been really solid. He's been solid every single for the first 2 seasons we've had him. Haven't been, you know, really complaining about him too much. He's been really good. But that's what we're looking at with the player efficiency rating. Now let's jump over to the progression and see how some of these prospects are progressing. So taking a look at the whole team, you got Pasternak, who's a 94, McAvoy 94, Swayman a 93, Zacha at a 89. He's kind of sitting still there. Lindholm has been at a 87, 88. We've also seen him at an 86, so he's sitting between that 86-88 range. Kusnedinov has found, you know, where he's flatlining as far as overall at 87. Kesseling's at 87. Renzel's at 87. He's still got room to develop right now. Nikolai Ehlers has regressed a little bit. Sasha Bumadini has progressed up to an 85. Elias Lindholm definitely regressing, as we know. Vilchinski's up to an 84. Letourneau up to an 84. Walensky's up to an 84 as well with that low elite. So if he continues to develop, that's going to be huge for us. Mittens a 83. He's kind of sat around that. Hasn't really progressed from there. Elton Yermison's up to an 83 as well. You got Edstrom at an 82. Warner sitting at 79. When it comes to the system, which we'll get to here in a second, nothing too crazy. Brunet's a 79, hasn't really developed into much. Rogowski is up to a 79, which is pretty good for us. Taking a look at the rest of it, you got Kilpinen, who's up to a 77, but we want to take a look at some of our top prospect. Bobrovsky up to a 76. He should finish around that 79 range. Wallenius, but we have, it was the, oh, that's right, he's actually lower, the elite player that we have, medium elite. Want to take a look at him. So the medium elite is up to a 64. It says he's progressed by 19. Is that the highest so far? 22 for Dolok. Top 9 forward Dolok is up to a 70 overall. He's 19 years old, so he's somebody to keep an eye on. But you got Wertinen, who's the elite, medium elite. He's progressing nicely. Rene's progressing nicely as well. You got Chan, who's progressing nicely with 17, who was the lead in the NHL. Lindholm, but in a negative way, minus 24 to his attributes. I think Mitten's positive. I think this is all positive. Let's take a look at Mitten. Actually, it's negative. A massive negative, massive regression for Mitten. LaRoe has been the only positive, and he hasn't even been great for us, so he's been sitting the pine. But actually, it's negative. Why is it green then? I feel like the color coding is terrible. We got a lot of regression here. Walensky, probably no. Some regression. Statistical growth is down. Brett Harrison, but that's the progression in regression so far. Going into the trade deadline, some major things we got to think about. Trading Poitras is number one. That's a definite. Also, do we trade Ehlers? Can we get a top 6 improvement? What's going to be on the trading block? Can we get somebody that will, swing this season in our favor and then potentially help us in a deep playoff run? I think we would have had a deep playoff run the last season if, somebody like Kuznetsov and McAvoy didn't go down to injury. So there's a bunch of stuff that could happen towards the end of the season, injuries and things like that. But hopefully we can make this team better. But that's going to do it for this one. If you're enjoying the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm your boy Is Nefarious, and I am out of here.